Well, today we're going to have a quick unboxing video of a brand new in-box Headstart Explorer. And what's special about this computer to me is that this was my first computer. I'm really glad the original owners followed the instructions and saved this box for future shipping requirements. Well, I can't tell you for sure if it's never been used, but it was sold that way. Let's see what we have. Alright. I'll try to keep it all in focus here. Hang on. Let's, no, let's do it this way. Yeah, that works. Perfect. Alright, so we have a pretty big box here. It says made in Korea. And what do we have inside? It's heavy. Very heavy. Let's see. I mean, you can see it all in shot. Alright. Okay, we got, oh my god, the original warranty information and registration card that we could mail off to Carson, California. And we get a 1-year, 12-month warranty. Read me first before you do anything else. Well, I was going to unpack the computer, but it's printed on both sides. I wonder how this... Ooh, look at this. If you're in a rush to get started, please follow these simple steps. Congratulations on your new Headstart Explorer. Along with the box containing your Headstart Explorer, you'll need to have a monitor sold separately. Good thing I have one. Also useful is the optional Explorer monitor stand and Explorer mouse, both sold separately. Well, luckily for me, I have all these things. Unpack the inner packing material. You should have the following items. The Explorer computer with flip-down keyboard. They found it necessary to mention in the unpacking instructions to remind you again it has a flip-down keyboard. 5 manuals, 4 floppy disks, extra data disk labels, and a warranty card. Alright, we're going to have to see if we have the 5 manuals and the 4 disks. Unpack the optional monitor, put it on the stand. Number 4, look at all the ports. Number 5, connect the monitor. Number 6, set the color or monochrome. I love how this is very clearly handwritten color and mono. Like, that's definitely not a computer font. Somebody hand drew these illustrations like a comic book, but some of these things you can tell are printed. Let's see how I can push the limits of the focusing here. So you could see that the video output plug and monitor AC plug are very clearly printed. But if you move to like the color mono switch and the label, like especially joystick, you could definitely see this is some handwriting going on. Kind of cool. You know, back in the days of computers like this. Well, they would have had the software. You know, PageMaker and all that stuff definitely would have been out by 89. They'd have had some sophisticated software. Maybe they were going for this look on purpose to make it feel more friendly. Or they were just lazy. I don't know. Interesting. If you have a mouse, plug it in, plug the computer in, and turn it on. And if you need any technical assistance, oh, we got to try this later. Please call 1-800-PC-COACH. So I have to dial that number and just see where it routes to these days. Alright, so we had our warranty card, our stop. So the manuals they're in alright condition. They're pretty good. They're not a 10, but they're, yeah, this one's got a little bit of schmutz on it. Alright. So we got a pretty big GW Basic and logo instruction manual, so that's 2. And then over here we have an addendum and a reference guide. Oh, with the beautiful stands. These things are designed to to sit there like on display. So we have our how to use it reference guide. I wonder what the reference guide. Oh, well, that's not in the best shape. Definitely not what I expected there, but I think I have a few of these ready anyway. The Explorer word processor. Oh, okay, so it's kind of like how to use it, except it's more of, this is kind of on the software, the operating system, the custom operating system, the Explorer bulletin board. Let's see if it, yep, it's the Explorer the whole way. So this is all about the Explorer operating system is really what this is. And then the how to use is a actually much shorter book. Oh no, it still has, it's just more in tutorial, but it's still the same word processor and the date book. So I guess it's just they've split it up somehow into two books. I'll note that later. And then the addendum, let's see what's in here. more instructions on using the system. Okay, I guess they forgot a few things they really wanted to mention. Oh, there's that 1-800-PC Coach Headstart Technology Support Hotline. I'll have to call them and see if they can send me some BIOS update. That would be nice. Alright, we got a technical reference and DOS. So we had a reference guide, and we also have a technical reference and MS-DOS 3.31. And this says I have 5 manuals and 4 discs. So, right? Yes, 5 manuals, 4 discs. So, three books, 2 flip charts. So there's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our addendum wasn't counted. The master diskettes. This is where the money is, because getting these is hard. Oh my god, it's got the extra labels. I have 4 discs. System disc, programs disc, tutorial disc, and I think the data disc is just a blank for your use. Like your first floppy disk to get you started. So those are the 3 main discs, the tutorials, GW Basic logo, and the spell checker dictionary. And the system disk. I think the system disk is what you use to configure the BIOS. I think that has the magic program on it that lets you set the hard drive type number and stuff like that. You know, computers back then didn't have the setup in ROM. I mean, for a computer that has so much ROM, there's 2 different OS ROMs. There's a ROM for the bulletin board OS. There's a separate ROM chip just for DOS. And of course there's the BIOS ROM. So there's 3 ROM chips inside these computers. Yet they could not fit a configuration utility and all of that. You'd think in the DOS ROM they'd have put the BIOS config utility, but no. So without that disk, you're kind of up a creek. Although the Automagic hard disk is supposed to configure itself, but I've found I've needed that access in the past. So there's our technical reference. Okay, it's got actual information about, oh, look at this, a pinout for the joystick. Pin number 1 is +5 volts, and button 4 in position 0. That's really useful. Oh, I was gonna crack a joke. I said it's gonna give me 3 of the 15 pins on the joystick connector. I said, okay, glad I know those 3. Okay, so they just continued it the odd way onto the next page. There's a memory map. Oh, this is really useful to know the memory map. And that's going to come in handy, especially for trying to get some of these, like the compact flash, what's called the XTCF, or one of those cards working. You need a memory address that you can have it shove its option ROM into, and there you go. It looks like you have 112K, but it's reserved for it. I wonder if that's available for it or reserved for option ROM, because the computer has a lot of peripherals on board. Everything's on board. It's a single board computer. Well, there's a power supply board and a computer board. The controllers, the hard drive, the floppy, it's all on, everything's on board in this machine. There's a single 8-bit ISA slot for that 8088 processor. Oh, okay, so you got some DOS commandy stuff in here. Alright, let's put that away. Put our master discs back. Put our foam spacer. Our stop sign. Alright, makes for a very heavy, I mean this thing weighs about 8 pounds, maybe 7 or 8 pounds. It's quite heavy. Alright, here's the computer. Oh, sorry. Get my head in the camera. Looks like we stuck an extra piece of foam in. The guy did take the computer out for pictures. It may have been used on someone's desk and they didn't use it. Yeah, you can see there's a dent in the connector for the external floppy. I could easily remove that dent as if it never happened, but the computer's definitely not new in box, but newish, new to me. Okay, let's do this without ripping up the packing materials. So let's get the box down out of our way here. Our foam. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, so there we have it. There's the Explorer with the fold-down keyboard. Oh, it is in gorgeous condition. Look at that. Oh, I think you'd probably wish you could look at that. Let me see. Move things up a bit. How's that? There we go. We're in shot now. Wow. I mean, it's it's just a membrane keyboard, but it really feels. I mean, it feels like I remember it when it was new. The other key's a little. I don't know. Not dirty. Just kind of needs to be cleaned or something. Let's see if there's any magic surprises. I doubt it. No, but good grief, there's definitely our battery in there, and it hasn't leaked yet, which is impressive. And the only thing we have is this hole here is kind of bizarre. It's the connector to the battery socket. I think it's so that when you put the cover back, you can get your little needle nose through that little hole and re-plug in the battery socket. This is one design. There's two designs I've seen. The other one is a metal cover with a screw, and this one has the plastic clips without the metal cover. One thing I always thought was funny, they were thinking about it when they designed this thing, because there's a punch out here for 16-bit ISA, but I guess they decided maybe sort of last minute whether they were going to go with an 8088 or they were going to do something like a 286 or maybe have a higher end version, but they never did. The 8088 was really dated when this computer was new, but it was kind of, the idea was how the price was so low, with all the extras you were getting. They said, well, if you want to pay a low amount of money and you want to have a 3.5-inch floppy and color CGA graphics, and I can't promise this, but I think it may be Tandy compatible, because they talk about having their own special mode with I can't remember all the colors instead of just the few that CGA would give you, and it sound a lot like PC Junior's Tandy 1000 graphics, so it may actually have that as well. and it has Hercules. It's got a multiple monitor support, and there's your 720K floppy. And this may be the first one I have with this. Everybody kind of opted for the hard drive, and here's the door. So this computer is factory hard drive-less. There is no hard drive, and yes, it really does just slide in like a module. It uses the card edge connector on the XT IDE hard drive, and True XT IDE is a really funny thing because it's a standard that's not standard. You have to have the right kind of drive matched to the right kind of controller, and it's just very very difficult, and you can't just break out to regular what we know of as IDE from this that I know of. If anybody knows of a way to get from this XT IDE, which predates IDE, to a more modern IDE that I could just plug a compact flash card into, that would be fantastic. But yeah, you have data and power on one edge connector. The hard drive, I remember having a mini scribe myself. You know, got its power and data, and as I said, this is not IDE. It's not even compatible with IDE. So there we go. And then that's the back. Oh, so this is maybe a little newer. It has a sticker. It says power supply is approved by UL. That's the first time I've seen that. So maybe maybe they went back and got it approved by UL, or maybe, I don't know. Let's see if I could see the serial number of the unit here. It's just embossed. EX 193 500 1365. That's embossed. And oh, they're so rare to find because these things like to, you know, the switch is spring loaded, and these things don't hold on well, and they like to go flying off. And once they start doing that, it's a short matter of time before it flies off, and you don't bother chasing it down. And then I have a couple of Explorers with little holes in the side from that. So I do have, it's nice to have the button intact. And then there's this little punch out here if you do add an ISA card that allows you to, you know, get to whatever port. So it's interesting. There's a little hole here, so you can, I guess the idea was so you could route a cable, but there's no matching cutout on the frame, so this notch doesn't really allow you to route a cable. You'd have to Dremel that out. I don't know. That is how they designed it. And then, you know, I'll show you here the little pop out. Break old plastic. It's not much. It's just a. There we go. So it's just a hole that your card will. You should be able to get to your ports. I think these little grooves here are what holds it in. So the bottom of the metal frame is going to be fairly recessed. So it can cause some issues with connectors because your ISA card is going to be, you know, about a good ½ an inch recessed in there. But it is the only slot you get. Alright, let's see if we can. Should consider sometimes warming these things up with before I crack them. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that too much. I'll fix that later. But there we have it, a Headstart Explorer, pretty much new in the box. And that's going to be that for now.